Lefevre. The Royals are off to a 4-8 start in September. They have lost 7 of their last 9 games, and most teams will have a stretch like that over the course of the regular season. And yet I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, Hud, is it just a bad stretch or is there something missing?
Well, I can tell there's something missing, and I think the players can too. At the beginning of the season, if you look back, they got their championship rings. They were missing that type of swagger. Everyone was gunning for them. And there it was. Mr. Glass was proudly handing out those American League Championship rings, and then all of a sudden, from the first series on, it's on. These other teams couldn't stand the Royals taking that flag, and everybody was challenging them. And what they did was they protected their ground. They held their ground, and they liked it. A 7-0 start for the season with Morales, Kane, that defense. Oh, man, I'm going to tell you, they're missing the swagger. Hopefully it's back, and this is how you get it back. Starting pitching, bullpen. Doesn't matter. Got guys that can shut down games in the 6th inning, 7th inning on. It's been fun to watch, a great formula. They know they have it, but down the stretch, they've got to find it again.
And they really do need a good performance from a starting pitcher tonight. And the most steady starter has been Edinson Volquez. When we come back, Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery will talk more about Steady Eddie in his first year with the Royals.
Seven innings in each of those starts. Both of them were at Kauffman Stadium, which backs up his home road splits. Very good away from Progressive. The Royals will get him in Cleveland tonight. Back here by the visitors' dugout, Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and you nicknamed Edinson Volquez early in the year Steady Eddie, but he's kind of been off again, on again of late. So let's talk about Edinson Volquez and our Toyota League leaders. backing up that steady nickname, the Royals are 21-8 in his starts, tied for the best record of any team with an American League pitcher, and just behind a couple in the National League. So what are you looking for from Eddie?
Well, this is what a team looks for. When you're struggling as a team, you want a starting pitcher to go out there and take the lead. Edinson Volquez has done that. He did it in his last start against the Minnesota Twins. They want Johnny Cueto to be the ace, but so far, Edinson Volquez, to me, has been the ace of this staff. He could be the right guy to get things going tonight.
And he was on a mission last week against Minnesota, needing to stop the bleeding. He'll try to play that role of stopper once again tonight. The Royals and the Indians still have 7 more meetings this year, including this one coming up. First pitch is next.
Play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. Royals begin this series with a 10-game lead over Minnesota, 13.5 over Cleveland. Cleveland is hanging on to their wild card hopes. They're 4.5 games back. The Royals' magic number to win the Central is 11. And of course, also keeping an eye on the Toronto Blue Jays. The magic number for the #1 seed is 18. Toronto is off tonight. Well, the plan for Alex Gordon was to play 2 games, get a day off until the middle or the end of this road trip. Then it was going to be 3 straight games and a day off. But tonight, he plays in his 4th consecutive game.
Yeah, it's been impressive how he's improved every day, and he's almost to 100% now. He's got the confidence going, and it seems like the injury really has made his bat better. He's more selective. He's taking more controlled swings. Hopefully he's on against Carrasco, who he hasn't had a lot of success off, just 2 for 23.
And the Royals will see Carlos Carrasco for the 3rd time this year. Joel told you he is 2-0 against the Royals this year, 4-4 in his career. And a look at the Indians defensively. They have upgraded quite a bit from last year. Much improved Indians defense in 2015.
Yeah, especially on the left side of the infield. Lindor and Urshela, they have really nailed down that left side. Not a lot gets through there. They've got good range, both of those young players, and looking like a good preview for their future.
And our umpiring crew for tonight, right behind Jan Gomes, is Jeff Nelson, the crew chief. Corey Blazer is at first base. Ben May, a minor league call-up umpire, is at second, and Chris Guccione is at third. Cleveland Indians have played very well recently. They have won 5 of their last 7 and 12 of their last 17.
Well, now Carrasco, the Royals know exactly what they're getting. Even though his last start he only went 2 2/3 innings, he's got great stuff. His fastball is really explosive. He averages 94. We'll see some 97s, 98s. Slider, changeup, and curveball. All those are excellent pitches. He's got good command with them. And when he's on, he can be almost unhittable. He's a number 1 or a number 2 in a rotation.
Good start to the game. Alex Gordon, playing in that 4th straight game, opens with a home run. So he rewards Ned Yost for playing him in 4 straight. And the Royals, 1 pitch into the game, have a 1-0 lead.
Wow. You know, just mentioned he's 2 for 23 with 1 home run. Now that's the 3rd hit, and 2 out of the 3 hits are homers. Good start. Mess around and waste any time. They got him a ball right down in the middle of the plate, maybe a little bit off to the outside, but great extension. Great to get the lead.
Now let's see how Carrasco starts off Ben Zobrist. He misses low with ball 1. Alex has matched his hit total from the Orioles series. He was just 1 for 13 against Baltimore after a very good homestand in his return from the disabled list. And now 1-1 on Zobrist with a fastball at 96.
14th career leadoff homer for Alex Gordon. Brings a smile to his face.
And that's hit well into center field. Abraham Almonte backs up to the edge of the warning track to make the play on Zobrist. So 2 good swings for the Royals against Carlos Carrasco. And that brings up Lorenzo Cain, who had a very good series against the Orioles. We remind you to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Lorenzo Cain with a career high 16 home runs. And Carrasco stays aggressive with his fastball. Lorenzo Cain, entering this year, had a combined 17 home runs, and now he has 16 this year. That was not a swing on appeal to first base umpire Corey Blazer. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, the Royals can expect Carrasco to try to establish his fastball in the first couple of innings. And then after that, he goes soft. He starts using his secondary pitches. So it's important that they jump on that heater early.
One and 2 on Lorenzo.
I mean, you can hit soft stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit easier when you know that heater's coming, especially early in the count, to try to square it up.
And that's when he's most vulnerable, when he's relying heavily on his fastball. Much better second time through, third time through. Way outside with a breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Cain. Lorenzo scored 6 times in the Orioles series. He hit 2 home runs and he drove in 3.
Lorenzo Cain's back to using the big part of the field up the middle and to the opposite field. And that's good for him. Get on base, score runs. Drop him. That'll work.
And didn't even mean to swing, but made enough contact for a 1-out single to right field.
Yeah, a little abbreviated swing he took there. Wasn't sure what that pitch was and what it was going to do. And lots of times, if you have the right approach mentally, you're going to get hits like that. He wasn't trying to spin or pull or do anything like that, and he found a hole.
And now Eric Hosmer. And my goodness, has he had a season this year against the Cleveland Indians. Overall, a career high 82 RBIs, batting at .304. That's 9th in the American League. And that ball is hit a mile, but foul.
Hey, that was fair. Hey.
That doesn't surprise anybody in the ballpark here tonight that he took a swing like that. Against the Indians in 12 games, he has 19 RBIs. The Royals' record against Cleveland is Mike Sweeney. He had 20 RBIs in 2001 against the Indians. So I'm sure Terry Francona and his coaching staff spent a little extra time on the scouting report for Eric Hosmer.
Well, with 7 games left against the Tribe, including tonight, I like Haas's chances.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Haas 5 for 15 in his career off of Carrasco. Lorenzo Cain, he's 2nd in the American League in steals. He can go. Just all depends on what he wants to do. Sometimes just the threat of him going over there is going to get Hosmer some more fastballs.
2-1.
That's 27 steals to be exact. It's been only caught 4 times.
Hard slider in on his hands. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You say a guy like Carrasco has good stuff. What that means is that that's velocity plus the break on the pitches. Because you have good depth. And when you have stuff, which is velocity, and you have that break, you're going to fool a lot of hitters. Gets up there on you quickly.
Lorenzo made a move to second base, and now he'll try and make a move on Santana. He is tagged out by the shortstop Lindor, and that is the 2nd out.
It's the first time all season we've seen Lorenzo Cain get caught in between here. And at that particular point, what you want to do is just keep going. Because Santana, he's not the best first baseman, and lots of times that throw can be up or out of the way, and you can slide into second safely.
Back with that hard slider. Hosmer strikes out, and that ends the inning. But Alex Gordon on the first pitch of the game belts his 12th home run of the year to give Edinson Volquez the lead.
Cookie on the first pitch.
The Indians are in it. Technically, they are in it. 4.5 games back with less than 3 weeks to go, but they have 4 teams to pass, so they need to get hot. The Angels, the Twins, and the Rangers need to struggle, but they are still in it. And over their last 2.5 weeks, the offense has really picked up. They're averaging over 5 runs per game. And the last time we faced the Indians, this guy right here, Jason Kipnis, was the hottest hitter on the planet, it seemed.
Yeah, everything that hit his bat fell for a hit, and there was no bloopers either. This guy was all over the ball, but that's kind of cooled him off some.
Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and when Volquez pitched on Tuesday, the Royals really needed a good outing. Needed a good start. Volquez answered the call, giving up 2 runs in 7 innings. The Royals won that game 4-2. And he won his 13th of the year, which matches his total from last year with the Pirates.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he could go back-to-back quality starts. Hasn't happened since August 2nd and the 7th. This is exactly how you get your swagger back. You get a little bit of lead and then you execute with your pitches. He's got some beauties. Dave Island's been helping him mechanically with a few little issues. One of them is standing tall in his back leg so it doesn't collapse and leaves his ball a little bit short and underneath the ball. And the other one is, we talked about, he had too long of a windup. I haven't heard that before, but what that does is it makes it hard to repeat your mechanics as you're too long every time. You want to keep it short and concise, and that generates a little bit more power on your fastball.
And that's well hit into deep right center field for Kipnis. And the Royals and Indians have matched leadoff home runs. Game on.
Hey, Kipnis 3 for 6 in his career, and that ball, he lifted that. It was a 2-seamer that was down, but it's in the wheelhouse of that lefty. They always like that pitch down and in, and he's able to drop the head of that bat and get up underneath it with a little bit of backspin.
Now the rookie shortstop Francisco Lindor, and he was impressive when the Royals were here at the end of July. Royals won the series 2-1, but Lindor had 2 home runs and drove in 7 in that series. Popped up. Alex comes in left field, and that's the first out. And a look at the Royals defensively tonight, presented by Ford.
Edison Volquez, team leading 30th start this season. Very consistent as far as that goes. They would like to see him be able to repeat in quality starts, like I mentioned. But he knows how to pitch that defense. That's what he wants to do. Less is more sometimes than trying to overpower guys. But he's got a very nice 2- and 4-seam fastball that he likes to get established early. Kind of like Carrasco.
And a fastball strike to Michael Brantley. Curveball a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's nice depth on that curve. 3-pitch guy, but if it's 2- and 4-seamer, you make it 4. He's a combination of those fastballs, but that curveball, boy, that was nice. If he gets that kind of break, go along with his changeup that moves down, that's a good sign.
2-1.
He's facing one of the best hitters in the American League for sure, and he's been good against him. Brantley's 4 for 5 against Volquez in his career, and we see the changeup, but the movement he gets away from lefties is one of the reasons lefties have such a hard time hitting him.
Another good year for Brantley after finishing 3rd last year in the American League MVP voting behind Mike Trout and Victor Martinez. Blooped into shallow left. Alex charges in, and it's going to drop in front of him. So just like the Royals in the top of the first, a home run and out, and then a scratch single. And now Volquez is pointing out who he will go to on a comebacker. You mentioned what he's done against lefties. This is about 20 points better than he has done in his long career. About 250 against lefties, but in the new league, down to 232 against left-hand batters.
Yeah, the reason I can tell you is the changeup has great depth and movement away from the lefty, and also his two-seam fastball moves away. Those pitches going away are a little bit harder to square.
And now Carlos Santana. Better average on the other side of the plate. Almost all of his power from this side of the plate.
And he's got one hit off of Volquez, 1 for 6, and that was a homer.
A little bit low, 2 balls and no strikes. Santana normally has long plate appearances. He will wait for his pitch, and when he does, he will swing out of his shirt and either make contact or fall down trying.
Got two-seam fastballs, those changeups away. He wants to put him in the lane here. Santana's grounded at 19. Won't this time.
Moustakas and Escobar right there. Escobar makes the play, 2 down. And that'll bring up right fielder Lonnie Chisenhall. When the Royals were here last, Chisenhall was in the minor leagues, and there was some talk about him being done as a big league player, at least with the Indians. Giovanni Urshela had taken over at third, young player out of Colombia, and he's at third base tonight. But Chisenhall started playing the outfield in the minor leagues, and he's getting another look at this level in right field.
Well, and all reviews have been rave reviews with him in right field. I even heard some of the Cleveland Indians people comparing him to Alex Gordon defensively because of the fact that he could play he played infield, and he's got good feet out there. He's got a nice strong throwing arm, and he's opened some eyes in right field. They've always liked his bat.
Way out in front, and he pulls it off the message board on the right field side. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, last year, and we're pretty much done talking about last year in 2014, but you can't give up on a guy who hits 280, 29 doubles, 13 homers. They like his bat, so if they can find another position for him out there, it might work well for him in his future.
Got the call on the breaking ball, 1-2.
Brantley, he'll still steal. He's 14 out of 15 in steals this year.
Into right field, and that's down. 1 hop to Rios. Brantley will stop at second base. So a good breaking ball followed by a hanging breaking ball, and Chisenhall is aboard. 2 on, 2 out.
That ball just hung up a little bit too high in the zone, and hitters, they're going to put a piece of wood on that for sure. May not hit it squarely, but that's all it took. Side of the homer, a couple of doinkers. Ball's not hit well.
And now Yan Gomes, who just hasn't been able to get things going this year. Went down very early in the season with a knee injury. Chance here with Brantley at second and Chisenhall at first with 2 down.
Just been a 160 hitter so far with a runner in scoring position. You know, it's just really hard when you miss any amount of time to begin the season, because the pitchers are usually ahead of hitters coming out of spring training, and then you get that first month or 2 in and they're even further ahead. And so when he jumped in, it was tough to catch up. A little bit like Alex Rios early in the season when he missed 6 weeks. He's just now catching up. This last 3 weeks.
Good hard fastball up at 95. 0-2. Only 3 other pitchers in the American League have been better than Volquez when the opponent has a runner in scoring position. The Royals saw the best in the league last night, Wei Yin Chen, in a loss at Camden Yards. Now timeout called by, or asked for, by Salvador Perez. Got him. Fastball up again. So both teams had leadoff home runs. Gordon in the first, Kipnis in the bottom of the first, and we're tied at 1. The top of the second inning. Mark your calendars. 2016 Royals Fan Fest presented by Commerce Bank will be on Friday, January 29th and Saturday, January 30th at the KC Convention Center. It's a family-friendly event and will feature player autograph sessions, slugger appearances, and Royals merchandise. Tickets on sale at royals.com/fanfest. Strike 2, Kendrys Morales, followed by Mike Moustakas and Salvador Perez. Going 2.
Morales 2 for 5 with 1 homer in his career. You know, it was interesting. Right before that inning started, we showed Dave Island talking with Volquez. Volquez, he was talking about the adjustment for mounds. Got him there. Okay, here it is right here. Watch him. He's talking now. Watch Volquez. He's going to talk about the mound out there, out in the bullpen. He's saying the mound's stiff here. Out there, it's it's a little bit different. And this mound here, he's talking about the differences in the downhill angle of them. And most ballparks try to keep their bullpen mounds just like their in-game mounds between the line and the field. But sometimes they're not. So that's part of the adjustment a pitcher goes through in that first inning.
Popped up, Mike Moustakas to the left side. Urshela backs up to the grass, and there are 2 down. Carrasco's had quite a year. During the offseason, he had a minor heart procedure. Then he got a 4-year contract extension in spring training. Then he was hit in the face by a line drive from Melky Cabrera early in the season. Then he came within 1 out of a no-hitter at Tampa Bay. And this is just his 2nd start since coming back from the disabled list with a sore right shoulder. That's like 5 years of things happening to a guy in 1 year.
Yeah, sometimes seasons can be long and longer for others. I mean, it's pretty much a grind anyway, especially young players going through it for their first time.
0-2 on Salvador Perez. Carlos Carrasco is now 28 years old. Sal drove in 4 in the Orioles series. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Carrasco, and both on just 3 pitches as he got Morales and Perez. 3 up, 3 down. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. Royals fans here. It is a very small gathering. Abraham Almonte will lead off against Edinson Volquez. This, for me, was the first surprise for the Royals on the road as far as fans following the Royals. Being here in early April, it was cold, it was damp, and yet there were the "Let's Go Royals" chants coming from mostly the first base and right field side of Progressive Field. I mean, we're a long way away from places like St. Louis and Minneapolis and Chicago, where we're used to Royals fans, you know, one-day drive, pretty easy drive, but this was the first time where we started to realize it's going to be different this year compared to other years.
And it has been. Love the support on the road and especially at home. You know, just by looking at both pitchers' stuff and the pitches and the way they're executing, this could be a low-scoring game. Now, I might be wrong, but Carrasco, he's getting settled in. Volquez looks like he's got great depth on his curve, his changeup. His two-seamer and four-seamer look really sharp tonight. When pitching is on, it's tough to hit it.
And he's been a bit of a good luck charm for the Royals this year. The Royals have won his last 5 starts. The Royals are 21-8 when Volquez takes the mound. Almonte able to reach out and make contact, and it hangs up there for Lorenzo Cain, and there's one down to begin the bottom of the second. Volquez hasn't seen a lot of the Cleveland Indians. Now, he saw some of them when he was in Cincinnati. This is their natural rival, but this has been a tough matchup for him, with a 9.31 ERA in 5 starts. And the ERA is about the same here in Cleveland as it has been when he has pitched at home against the Indians. So for whatever reason, he's had a tough time with the Tribe. This is Giovanni Urshela. Out to the Royals third baseman, who throws out the Indians third baseman. 2 down. Live the legend and bring the whole family out to the Kansas City Renaissance Festival. Experience the all-new zip line and daily craft beer tastings. It's open every weekend from now through October 18th, plus Columbus Day. Discount tickets and more are available at kcrenfest.com. And now Jose Ramirez with 2 down. Volquez is in with a strike. Ramirez is one of 4 switch hitters Terry Francona has in his lineup, which could cause some problems for certain teams' bullpens trying to match up.
Or unless you have a bullpen like Ned Yost.
I said some bullpens.
Yeah, you did. But most of Ned's righties out there, they had great numbers against lefties. And that's a luxury. Doesn't always happen. 29 other teams are a little bit in awe and in envy of Ned and what he's got at the back end of his pen. Not just the back end. Middle way through.
Two and 2 on Jose Ramirez. Ramirez played quite a bit of shortstop for the Indians the past couple of years until Francisco Lindor arrived. He is at second base tonight as Jason Kipnis is the DH. Stakis gets a high hopper and throws in time. So both pitchers give up a leadoff home run in the first inning. Both pitchers have a 1-2-3 second inning. We've been mesmerized by this young lady trying to catch a butterfly with her Indians cap. And we hope that that's not the most entertaining thing that we see tonight. Our University of Kansas hospital injury report, that looked like a pretty harmless collision between Troy Tulowitzki and Kevin Pillar at Yankee Stadium over the weekend. And in the end, Tulowitzki with a crack in his left shoulder blade. The Blue Jays are hopeful that he can come back in 2 to 3 weeks. 1 pitch, 1 out as Carrasco gets Rios to ground out sharply to short. And that's significant. That's a significant loss for the Blue Jays. And the Royals still have the best record in the American League. A 2.5 game advantage over Toronto. Toronto's off tonight. They'll begin a series in Atlanta tomorrow. So any combination of Royals wins and Blue Jays losses that add up to 18 between now and the end of the regular season, and the Royals will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And now Carrasco to Alcides Escobar, and a fastball is in for a strike.
Yeah, you know, that injury didn't look like much, did it? But, you know, sometimes that's all it takes. And they're going to miss him. See if the Blue Jays can respond like the Royals did when Alex Gordon left.
1-1 on Escobar. Two and 1.
Fastball at 95. Slider, change, and curve. Won't throw a whole lot of curves, but he's slider and changeup guy. At 96, is some good boring in action to the righties. Yeah, this ball just crashes in hard. Escobar, he's been swinging for the fences. Trying to do a little bit too much. Wants to get that middle to the opposite field stroke down.
Slider down and away, and that's 4 strikeouts already for Carrasco, and all with that slider. 2 down. Here's Alex Gordon, and let's go to Joel.
Good news, guys, today on Alex Gordon, as he was named the Royals nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award. Every team nominates a player. The award, of course, is given to the player that represents the game of baseball through positive contributions on and off the field. Alex saying it means a lot to him. He told me that to be singled out among a team that has so many guys that do so much, really very meaningful to him. And he said to even be mentioned in the same conversation as the great Roberto Clemente is an honor. Ned Yost saying he is the perfect choice to represent the Royals. Voting will begin online Wednesday on Roberto Clemente Day and go through October 7th.
Alex will have the chance, and very few players have done this, but a chance to win the overall Roberto Clemente Award and the Hutch Award, which he won in 2014. Another off the field type of award. The Hutch Award goes to the player who exemplifies the honor, courage, and dedication of Fred Hutchinson, a former major league pitcher and manager who died at a young age. And Billy Butler also won that award when he was with the Royals.
You get mentioned for a Roberto Clemente Award, and many players will tell you that's better than any award they can get in baseball, period. Because it talks about your lasting impression that you leave, and that's in the communities that you perform in. Alex should be very proud. Beautiful.
2 very good swings tonight. He has homered to right center. That was on the first pitch of the game, and now a nice easy swing and a base hit to left field with 2 down.
You know, talking about us, he's a lot like Moose. As he's quieted his body down, he's not jumping, he's just trusting his hands, really. And it's amazing when you slow your body down how good your hands can really be. To get those hits to the opposite field, that's better. You're seeing it longer, and it makes you even quicker on the inside pitch.
And Zobrist hits sharply to Lindor. And that'll do it for the top of the third inning. Alex Gordon is 2 for 2. The Royals representative for the Roberto Clemente Award, Alex Gordon. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Dodge, keep summer performing with great deals now during the Dodge Labor Day sales event. Jason Kipnis goes the other way, and Alex Gordon fades back to the warning track. Kipnis, like Alex Gordon, hit a leadoff home run. And now lines out to deep left. And one down to Francisco Lindor, who was a later addition to the Indians roster, and yet his name is right in the middle of the American League Rookie of the Year discussion. Royals saw firsthand what an impact he can have on defense and at the plate. I mentioned the 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in one series against the Royals at the end of July. Playing in his 80th game. So right there with Carlos Correa as far as games go. Miguel Sano also a late addition.
Yeah, he's putting some pressure on Carlos Correa now. I believe Correa will probably get it because of his power numbers. But this young man here has opened a lot of eyes in the league, especially on his team, and that's where it really matters. He's been a big difference maker. On base percentage .347, showing some patience with his batting eye and his plate discipline. Those are things that you don't see a lot of from young guys. Usually they're up there swinging and hacking. He's got good discipline. He also has 12 sacrifice bunts. So he can do the little things.
There's some patience. Taking a 1-out walk on 4 straight pitches out of the strike zone. That's Volquez's first walk. And puts a man on for Michael Brantley. We hope you'll join us a week from tonight. We'll have our annual Gloves for Kids. Ned Yost will be there with several members of the Royals. We'll be at Kansas Sampler Oak Park in Lenexa. If you donate $25 toward the purchase of baseball equipment, you can take part in an autograph session from 5:30 to 6:30. featuring Ned Yost and select Royals players. For more information, go to Royals.com/gloves-for-kids. And now Michael Brantley, who's already singled off of Volquez. Breaking ball down by his feet. Brantley now hitting at .318. He is third in the league in hitting, third in on base percentage, and he leads the league in doubles.
But you notice how quiet he is. He barely even moves a muscle. He's up there just so still and calm. You know, he's got extreme confidence, and he lets his eyes tell his hands what to do. Has a good base, good solid foundation. Most hitters have to have that, but you eliminate the movement and all that jumping towards the pitcher and loading up and stuff, you're going to be a much better hitter because your head is still. When your head is still, you see the ball all the way in. But he has a good demeanor for baseball. Doesn't get too excited, doesn't get too down. You know, those guys, you know, you hear that all the time, but over the course of 162, you got to have that. It evens you out.
Two and one.
He reminds me of Garrett Anderson, left fielder for the Royals, or excuse me, for the Angels, that had such a great career as a world champion. You couldn't rattle him. You couldn't. He never got excited. I saw him knock in 10 runs against the Yankees one game. You know, Moose had a great game knocking in 9. I saw him do 10. He acted like it was no big deal.
Lindor runs, and that goes all the way to the screen, and a good bounce for Salvador Perez. Otherwise, Lindor may have tried to run to third. Well, Brantley was raised by a major league father, so I'm sure that was something that was preached to him at a very young age, the dealing with the ups and downs. His father, Mickey Brantley, had a long big league career and then also was a major league coach. Full count. And like most good hitters, his average with runners in scoring position is better than his overall average. Lindor reached with a 4-pitch walk and stole second base. Got him with a breaking ball. A delayed call by Jeff Nelson, the home plate umpire, and Brantley seemed stunned. He thought that pitch was high. You can read his lips saying wow as he leaves the batter's box.
But did you see he didn't get emotional? He didn't let himself get wrapped up in the call. It was probably a ball, but he took his time and he said, wow. But you like that. I just say he didn't get too high or too low, didn't get too excited. Mess around, take yourself out of a game early like this by saying something wrong. You hurt the team.
Carlos Santana takes a changeup low. Santana popped a short in the first inning.
You know,
Brantley's demeanor's a lot like Alex Gordon's demeanor.
Another good example. I wish I could have been like that. It's too emotional. There's a lot of emotional players out there that are successful, but it's a lot harder to endure the whole season.
Well, it's just a lot easier said than done to say you have to stay on an even keel. I mean, it's an emotional game.
I know. I couldn't understand it.
I mean, it's playing in front of, you know, tens of thousands of fans every night. You're on television. Critics are picking apart your every move. Friends and family are questioning why you're playing well or why you're not playing well, wanting tickets, wanting to go on the field, meet somebody. And so the rare man who can take all of that and keep his emotions on an even keel, I mean, that's the exception, not the rule.
I like what you said. I can't remember how many friends of mine called me and said, I know what you're doing wrong. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thanks. I got coaches that can help me, but thanks for your opinion. Volquez has done a nice job this year with getting runners out with them in scoring position. We talked about it, just a 201 average. Hitting good hitters count right here. Let's keep it away from him.
Santana walks. And now Volquez has walked 2 in the inning. Santana normally among the league leaders when it comes to walks. And with that walk, he ties Jose Bautista for the American League lead with 93. So you go from a hitter with 15 home runs, 68 RBIs, to a hitter with 6 home runs, 35 RBIs in Lonnie Chisenhall. And a good breaking ball's in for a strike. Chisenhall single to right in the first inning.
It's a good pitch, first pitch breaking ball there. A lot of hitters are looking first pitch fastball.
That is ripped to right field and over Rios. Great bounce. So the Indians will get 1. There was a play at second base. That ball came in, got to Rios so quickly, and he got it to the infield so quickly that Zobrist didn't realize that he had a play at second base. And that's a fortunate bounce for the Royals, that with a ball off the wall and 2 outs, that the Indians get 1 run.
Chisenhall got him a pitch that was up in the zone. Well, it wasn't exactly up, but it was out over the middle of the plate. He waited on it. It was looked like a little slider. Zobrist catches the ball right here, and had he turned to second, Escobar with his hands in the air, they probably would have gotten him at second base and been out of the inning.
And that's not his fault, right? No. He's got his back to the plate. Someone needs to tell him to go to second base.
Lots of times the trail infielder, that would have been Hosmer. You got to let him know. And that trail guy, he turns around and he can see the runners and where they're going. And typically that's what you do, but couldn't let him know in time.
And now Yan Gomes with 2 in scoring position. And he pulls it foul. Mike Aviles, former Royal, makes a nice play.
Okay, ball was struck well. Had some topspin on it. No chance to get it. Hits the base of the wall. Perfect kick, like you said. Now, plenty of time. Hosmer, there he is. Hosmer wasn't looking at second base, though. And then he looked, and it was a little bit too late.
Outside with a breaking ball. Yan Gomes struck out, and no other way to put it, but Volquez has overpowered him with 2 straight fastballs, threw it right by him. One and 2.
Having success there. Might want to try it again.
Royals best in the major leagues with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Now it hasn't seemed like that over the past week to 10 days. The Indians are the worst. They've had trouble all year coming up with the clutch hits. almost hit Santana. The obvious question would be, why does he just stay with his fastball against Gomes?
I was just going to say, when you have success on a certain pitch against the guy and you slow it down on him, that's what happens. You speed the bat up. It's like Chisenhall, that slider he hit and pulled.
There's the fastball. Gomes a little late on it and fouls it away.
Yeah, it's that fastball up around the letters is what how they struck him out last time up. That ball was in the middle of the plate. Volquez was fortunate, but Gomes behind the heater.
Changeup, and he nicked it and in the dirt before in Salvador Perez's glove. So the Royals are starting to walk off the field thinking it was a strikeout, but Jeff Nelson heard the contact and it's still 1-2.
Okay, that's a great location there. That's out. He can't hurt you, especially when you're ahead in the count. That's not a bad waste pitch. Now after that one, maybe you try the four-seamer upstairs. Still ahead in the count. Don't have to give him anything too good. It's a big opportunity for Volquez to get out of this inning.
Breaking ball, and it's hit well, but Kane is out there in center field, and that's the inning. So a rare 2-out RBI for the Indians. A 4-pitch walk turns into a run. Chisenhall drives in Lindor, and the Indians lead 2-1. For the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And Lorenzo Cain coming off a great series against the Orioles. He's done so much against the Orioles the last 2 years. And he has started this series with a base hit to right field in the first inning. Kind of a half swing, base hit to right.
Okay, second time through the order. First pitch slider. He gets softer as the game goes along, and what I mean by that is it goes to his secondary pitches. See if the Royals can somehow find a way to get a little rally going and get a big hit. As good as Carrasco's stuff is, they're going to have to win this game by getting big hits with a runner in scoring position.
100 points off of his opponent's batting average second time through. Royals scored 1 run on 2 hits first time through against Carrasco. And it gets a little better. I say little in quotations. Third time through the order, but time to get him his first time through.
And you really hope you don't see the 4th time through. Does that mean Carrasco's dealing?
That slider's nasty tonight. 5 strikeouts, all swinging and all with that pitch.
It's a definite fooler coming off that 95. A good fastball sets that up.
And his first strikeout victim was Eric Hosmer. He got him to end the top of the first inning. Took something off of his fastball, and it's 0-1.
Looked like a changeup. You go 88 to 90 with that pitch.
When many predicted that it would be the Indians to win the Central Division, and some even predicted that they would go to the World Series, it was because of their starting pitching, which maybe hasn't been as good as some predicted, but still pretty good. Over the mound, Lindor was playing the middle. He gets Hosmer, and there are 2 down. Indians starting rotation has the most strikeouts in the American League. They have the best, meaning lowest, whip. Fewest walks and hits per innings pitched, so not many base runners, and the 5th best ERA. But here they are with fewer than 3 weeks to go in the regular season and 1 game below 500. Morales was a strikeout victim in the second inning. Wide open left side, if that's what he was trying to do. No balls, 2 strikes.
It's important for all pitchers to try to get ahead. But for Carrasco, ooh man, he's been tough. Opponent's hitting under 200 when he gets ahead, because that means that when he falls behind, he's got to throw strikes, and they all know it. When you get 0-2, you can play around. You don't have to execute your pitches down the middle. You kind of can nibble the corners.
Just nicked it foul.
You mentioned that rotation: Kluber, Carrasco, Bauer, Salazar, Tomlin. You're going to see Salazar and Tomlin next couple nights. But all those guys have really good stuff. Fortunate they're going to miss Kluber. One and two.
And they really needed, the Indians did, There's Salazar. The Indians really needed Carrasco, Salazar, Trevor Bauer to step up this year. Well, Carrasco has 12 wins. Salazar has 12 wins. Bauer has 11 wins. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Corey Kluber is 8-13. That's Trevor Bauer. He won the Cy Young last year. Most of his numbers are there, but he's been the victim of poor run support. 11-12 for Bauer. High ERA, however, 4.71. First strikeout with a fastball for Carrasco. He has 6 strikeouts in 4 innings. Cleveland leads 2-1. Tomorrow, the Baseball Tomorrow Fun to bring your Royals Equipment Day coming up on Wednesday, September 23rd. All fans are encouraged to donate gently used gloves, baseballs, hats, or helmets to benefit Alta Vista High School. Donations will be collected outside the Diamond Club from 6 to 8:30. Get your tickets now at Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. It's coming up during the final homestand. One regular season homestand left. And that game on the 23rd is against the Seattle Mariners. Seattle for 3, Cleveland for 3 for the final 6 regular season home games.
And that's a great opportunity for some fall cleaning out in the garage. All that equipment that your kids have used and they don't use it anymore, that's what they're talking about. Gather that stuff up and bring it. A lot of kids would be thankful to have it. Keep them playing baseball.
Here's a little guy who's got his glove. He's got a souvenir already.
Looked like a softball.
Souvenir of some sort.
Now, Dad's got one of his kids' gloves from maybe one of their first gloves. I don't know how that's going to do for him. See, the top has come off already up there. A little Velcro. Better fasten that up, sir.
Out into left center, Lorenzo Cain there to make the catch. Second time he's retired Abraham Almonte. Volquez gave up a leadoff home run to Kipnis. And then with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, Lonnie Chisenhall doubled in Francisco Lindor. Weather was outstanding today, and it's supposed to remain that way the next 3 days. The Royals are here through Thursday. Sunshine and high temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. Here's Urshela. He was out on a ground ball to Moustakas in the 2nd inning. Giovanni Urshela, signed by the Indians 7 years ago out of Colombia. Pretty good looking curveball there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, since the first curveball Volquez threw tonight, it looked like it had great depth to it. Maybe a foot or 2 break on it.
Deep left center field, and that is into the bleachers. 6th home run for Giovanni Urshela. And now Cleveland leads 3-1.
After the big curve, he knew what was coming in the fastball, and it was down too. That's just a really nice swing by the rookie. Able to keep his head down, took that bottom hand right to it, and had a little lift. That ball jumped out of here.
Strike 2, Jose Ramirez. 2 home runs allowed by Edinson Volquez, and now 12 home runs allowed by the Royals in the last 4 games. Ramirez grounded to Moustakas in the 2nd inning. Still 0-2. Johnny Cueto had a tough night last night in Baltimore, giving up 4 home runs.
Yeah, Volquez, he's done a nice job keeping the ball in the yard. His last 7 starts, he's only given up 2 home runs coming into tonight. So he's been doing a good job of keeping that ball down. And really, a pitch like that Urshela took deep, that was all on Urshela. That was a great piece of hitting there. Wasn't a mistake by Volquez at all. Fastball down and in.
One and two.
It's 2-seamer. See how it's heading down? It's heading straight down the downhill plane. That ball was in and off the plate. He was looking in there.
Look out. And I think thankfully that ball ricocheted off an empty seat. Fastball strikes out Ramirez. That is Volquez third, and the second out of the 4th inning. Well, we told you early on the Indians are playing well. It has been a struggle most of the year for them, but they won 5 of their last 7, 12 of their last 17, and in that 17 game stretch they're averaging over 5 runs per game. 21-12 since August 8th.
And under Terry Francona, his teams have always finished strong the last 2 months of the season.
Kipnis is 1 for 2 with a solo home run. Hit sharply out to Zobrist at second base, and that is the inning. Indians get a home run from Urshela. Royals are coming up in the 5th inning, down by 2. as they bat in the 5th inning and need to get something going, and perhaps from our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
Well, we're watching Mike Moustakas having his best season in his career, no question, with the adjustments he's made, and especially here down the stretch. You notice he's getting the long ball. It's because he's been getting a lot of base hits to left field, so he keeps him on it, and he's able to recognize those mistakes. And going to the opposite field is helping him drive in runs. He's got his runners in scoring position average up to 290, even though there's not anybody on here. That's just an indication of him using the opposite field and picking up those RBIs that way.
He popped out to 3rd in the 2nd inning. Royals are having a tough time with that pitch, that hard slider from Carrasco. He has 6 strikeouts already tonight and 5 with this pitch.
Well, if you're thinking the opposite field, you're not going to swing at that. Sometimes, you know, like Moose getting hit a few home runs, popping him out of the yard, you're looking in there. So they're going to have to try to make some adjustments and think opposite field on Carrasco. If you're thinking middle away, you're not going to be looking at that pitch in there and you're going to let it go. It's easier said than done, but when this guy gets his secondary pitches in, and this is about the time of game where he starts mixing in his good changeup and sliders, and we've seen they're tough to pull.
Three years ago, Mike Moustakas hit 20 home runs and had 73 driven in. So right now he is 2 home runs and 2 RBI shy of those marks, but he hit 242 that year. Right now he's hitting 281. Another strikeout with a slider. That is 7 for Carrasco and 4 in the 3rd innings. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Royals are 7-5 against the Indians this year. The Indians have won 10 of the last 11 season series with the Royals. Royals have been outscored by 2 runs, but scoring almost 5 runs a game, hitting almost 350 with runners in scoring position. That was coming into tonight. And on Carlos Carrasco's first pitch, Alex Gordon hit a home run to right center field, and now Carrasco's retired 12 of the last 14 with 7 strikeouts.
Settling in and being dominant, going to have to make some adjustments, and just talked about them. Got to somehow find a way to put those balls in play that are out over the plate.
One and two.
Now, granted, when a pitcher's hitting his spots, and we talked about stuff and what that means, this kid has at Carrasco. But you know, the Royals have beaten every ace they faced this year, and they've gone through a period in the early and halfway through the season where they were beating all those guys.
Up the middle, and Lindor gets to it and doesn't get the out, but really displaying his range as far as he went to the middle just to get to that ball. Perez is on with a 1-out infield single.
Especially playing Salvador Perez to pull. He was over there in that hole. Pull that outside pitch. That ball was 4 inches on the outer half of the plate. Good try. Salvi doesn't get a chance to leg out too many. Lindor, he wanted him. That's the 131st infield hit. That's 4th in the American League by the Royals. They get their share, but not Salvi or Kendrys Morales. They don't get their share.
Rios grounded out sharply to short in the 3rd inning.
Back to my point was is that sure, the Royals during this last 2 weeks have faced some really good pitching and they've hit their spots, but they've beaten good pitching before, and they'll have to do it again if they want to get to their goal. You have to find a way. Beat these guys. Get some of that swagger back that we talked about in the opening of our show.
Well, this is the type of performance that can give the Royals a tough time. You can't beat the Royals with a fastball. They're a very good fastball hitting team. They're a very aggressive team. So if you can do what Carrasco is doing tonight, consistently make a slider look like a fastball and keep it close to the strike zone, you're going to get a lot of swings, because that's what the Royals do. And there's a sharply hit one hopper to third. Out at second, low throw is picked out by Santana. So Rios hits it hard on the ground again, but it's a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. Live radio broadcast and the MLB.TV game of the day. You can download MLB.com at bat for your phone or tablet right now. There you go. He's got his glove, listening to the game on the radio. That's a throwback right there.
He's into it.
Sitting very peacefully with an Indians fan. And now 3-0 on Francisco Lindor. Volquez got Lindor to fly out in the first inning, but in the third inning he walked him on 4 straight pitches. And now he's 3-0 with him, leading off the 5th. Michael Brantley is on deck, followed by Carlos Santana. Indians have scored in 3 of 4 innings against Volquez. Full count. Volquez is up to 80 pitches. Leadoff walk. Volquez is furious with himself.
Oh, he was all out of whack that time. That last pitch there, his mechanics were way off. His arm was out ahead of his body that time. He Got back into the count nicely with a fastball and a breaking ball, but he's trying to do too much with that.
Michael Brantley goes the other way. Brantley has a 2-hit game, and the Indians have 2 on with nobody out.
First pitch fastball, that's exactly what he was looking for. Didn't try to do too much, just put his hands on it, went to the opposite field with a good inside out swing. Hitters that hit for higher average use that opposite field at least twice a game. It's a good approach for a left-handed hitter against Volquez with his 2-seamer and his changeup all moving away.
And now Carlos Santana. Breaking ball for a strike. Santana has walked and popped a short against Volquez.
Santana, he's a good lane ball candidate. He's grounded into 19. And Volquez has induced 19 ground ball double plays. This would be a big pickup for Eddie Volquez if he could get it done.
1-1.
At 19 ground ball double plays induced by Volquez, that's 2 better than he had last year with the Pirates.
One and 2.
Again, curveball, good depth. Infield, playing him on the heavy pull side. Escobar, you see him right above the second base bag.
Two and 2. Could present some problems with ground balls on the right side, trying to turn a double play with 3 guys on the right side. Some awkward throws and angles.
Yep, Escobar, he has responsibility from all these angles right here. He'll be the turn man for both sides.
Wide open on the left side. Lindor will be held at third as Gordon got to it quickly. A walk and 2 singles, and now the Indians have the bases loaded with nobody out.
That's the only place that you didn't want him to hit it, and he hit it right there in the infield. Dave Island's going to come out and have a chat with him. Going to somehow talk him into staying out of the middle of the zone, and that ball was elevated. And with nobody out, third base coach Mike Sauerbaugh did the right thing. There's no need to try to force him home on Alex. Chisenhall coming in. He's got a couple of hits already, a single and a double against Volquez.
Both base hits to right field. The double drove in Lindor, who's at third base right now. Oh, and 1. And at 88 pitches and 4+ innings, Ned Yost already has to have his bullpen working behind Volquez. A little bit inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Good pitch down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he'd love a strikeout here. Strikeout, pop up. Any one of those would be perfect. Now the ground ball double play, that's okay, but you're going to give him another run, and the way Carrasco is going, heck, you can't give him any more runs.
Sal was coming out of his crouch, and Mike Moustakas made a move for third base. So if that pitch got to Salvador Perez, they're going to try and pick off Lindor.
Yeah, and you hate for the guy to foul a ball off on that. It kind of gives it away. You want to try to be as discreet as possible on those pickoffs, but I think they all knew beforehand, as they had their team meetings, they all know about Salvi's ability to throw behind runners.
Kane goes into left center field. Lindor tags. A throw goes to third. So down 1 and 2. Chisenhall makes contact. He drives in his second, and Cleveland leads 4-1. You have 3 catchers chatting right there. Ned Yost, Don Wakamatsu, and Pedro Grifol maybe discussing pitch selection on that 1-2 delivery. And now a good double play candidate in Yan Gomes. He has struck out and flied to center field. Three pitches in 4 1/3 innings. And you got to give the Indians some of that credit. You know, just put all the criticism on the shoulders of Volquez. Good change up, 1 ball, 1 strike. Indians have scored in 4 of 5 innings against Volquez. Back to Volquez. He connects with Zobrist. No double play. So a little hesitation, and the ball wasn't hit all that hard. Brantley goes to third. Gomes is safe at first. There are 2 outs.
That's the pitch he wanted. Volquez had that little pause there, and he wasn't maybe exactly sure who he was going to throw the ball to. This was that little hesitation. And that's usually taken care of before the hitter even steps into the box. You know who you're working with.
And that brings up Abraham Almonte, who flied out to center field in the first two at-bats in the second and fourth innings. 0-1. Indians are giving Almonte a long look after they traded Michael Bourne and Nick Swisher to the Atlanta Braves. There was a passing of the torch after the Indians traded away several veterans. Swisher and Bourne to the Braves, David Murphy to the Angels, Brandon Moss to the Cardinals, and Terry Francona. He brought in Jason Kipnis, he brought in Michael Brantley, Jan Gomes, and Corey Kluber in his office and said, okay, it's your team now. You'll decide how well we do the final, at that time, 6 or 7 weeks of the regular season. You guys set the tone now in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I like that. He empowers his veteran guys, or his go-to guys, and that goes for policing the clubhouse too.
And you're talking about players who, not all of them are from the Indian system, but they have all spent their entire big league careers with the Indians. Kipnis, Brantley, Gomes, Kluber. Off of Sal's glove, 2 balls, 2 strikes. All the other guys I mentioned were players that they brought in from other organizations, veterans, to give the team some experience as they were transitioning from a team that was young and up and coming to maybe a team that could win. And 2 years ago it worked. They got to the wild card game. It was time to pass the torch. This is pitch number 100, and Volquez gets a strikeout. So while the Indians have scored in 4 of 5 innings, Volquez has prevented the big inning. Royals are down 4-1 coming up in the 6th inning. Carrasco in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Janet Darnell from Clinton, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Janet wins $300. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Janet wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Carlos Carrasco's first pitch ended up in the seats in right center field on an Alex Gordon home run. Since then, the Royals have 3 singles And Carrasco has struck out 7.
Mowing them down, working that real nice fastball at 95, 96 miles an hour. Slider has been breaking off the table. Good changeup, and not too many curves. If you have 3 solid pitches like that, there's no need to add that 4th one if you don't need it.
Escobar, a victim of that slider in the 3rd inning. And it's tapped foul. It's 0-2.
Pulling the ball is not working against Carrasco. He's got his slider working away. The only pitch you can pull is if you can get a fastball that you can handle, but he's been pretty good with the command of that, putting it where he wants to.
Just outside. It's a rare slider that stayed up out over the strike zone, and Escobar's out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, Carrasco went 2 2/3, gave up 4 runs on 4 hits in his last start in Chicago against the White Sox. Terry Francona's manager said after the game, hey, look, the big picture is his stuff looked good. And he knows, he was a player, he knows how hard it is to hit that stuff when it's in there at that velocity. And so what's happening now is a manager continues to empower his players and get behind them and tell them how good they are. He's performing for him. A little emergency hack there.
No more than 14 pitches in an inning. Carrasco is at 65. Edson Volquez is up over 100 pitches. 8 strikeouts for Carrasco. Looked like more of a curveball than a slider. And now Alex Gordon, he turned in our ram drive of the game right away, as in the very first pitch of the game.
Too bad the boys couldn't follow up so far on this one, but you know, it's Carrasco. He's not making those mistakes like he did on the first pitch.
And then Alex, second time up, had a nice easy swing and single to left field. He has half of the Royals' 4 hits. Kane and Perez also have singles. Checked his swing and he took a strike. 1-1.
Take a look at Zobrist. You'd think he's in the batter's box. He's on deck right behind Alex. Look what he's doing, young players. Oh, that's a beautiful curve there. But see, when you're on deck and even when you're in the dugout, you should always be watching the pitcher. That's where you're going to gain some success and some knowledge off of, by watching him. What's he doing to your other players, to your teammates? Zobrist is trying to time him from the on-deck circle. Man, Carrasco, he is running right through the Royals offense.
It is 9 strikeouts against a team that's tough to strike out. And somehow he's done it, all those strikeouts, and he kept been able to keep his pitch count down.
Look at Zobrist. Look at the clones. Both of them same movement as the pitch was coming in.
All strikeouts swinging. DraftKings shows us the players to watch. Ben Zobrist is on that list. 0 for 2 so far tonight. Yoenis Cespedes, I think he's on every night.
He's on the Josh Donaldson program. Those guys are hitting home runs every night.
Zobrist is flying to center and grounded out to short. The Yoenis Cespedes effect. Last year he gets traded away and that team gets buried. This year he gets traded to a team and they take off. Three balls and no strikes on Zobrist. Carrasco has not walked a batter yet tonight. And there is the first walk. 4 straight pitches. And Zobrist is on with 2 down. Now here comes pitching coach Mickey Callaway out to have a chat with Carrasco.
Yeah, that was Zobrist's 54th walk. That leads the Royals in that category. I don't know really what much Mickey Callaway can be telling him right here. Kid Carrasco just cruising.
Lorenzo Cain has one of the 4 hits against Carrasco tonight with a first inning single. 0-1. Just putting that pitch wherever he wants it. If he wants to throw it for a strike, he can. If he wants to start it at the right hand batter, back him off, he can. If he wants it down and away, he can put it there.
And it's good for a first pitch. Most hitters are looking fastball, but he's wrinkling it.
Base hit left field. That one stayed up. So a 2 down, a walk, and a single. And that brings up Eric Hosmer. Remember, this is just the second start for Carrasco since coming off of the disabled list. So that might be why Mickey Callaway went out there with just over 70 pitches. He only threw 58 pitches on Tuesday in his first start, so he's not where he would normally be in the middle of the season. And this might be the opportunity the Royals have been waiting for all night, and especially with what Hosmer's done to the Indians all year.
Well, Hos hasn't seen anything straight tonight. I don't know if he will here. Stay inside the ball, utilize opposite field. Don't try to pull on him.
Hosmer struck out in the first inning and then grounded to short in the 4th. Hosmer has 82 runs driven in, 19 of those against the Indians. One and one.
Slider changeup. See if the Royals can jump on him now with 2 outs, and that's exactly what they like to do. First opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Hosmer, 299 coming in with the runners out there at second and beyond. Keep the approach to the opposite field, and you're going to react on any mistakes that are in.
No swing. 2-1.
Pitching coach has every right to come out and have a little chat. Usually the manager will send you out there, but really what this could have done is that could have disrupted his rhythm. he had a really good rhythm. And that's why I was kind of questioning whether he would go out. But, you know, like you mentioned, they're just bringing him back and easing him back in. You probably want to know how he felt, but one mistake and the Royals are back in it.
And now 3 balls, 1 strike. Well, with 58 pitches in his previous start, normally that only moves up in about maybe 15 pitch increments, so that would put him in the mid-70s. So that could explain why Mickey Callaway went out there and said, okay, you're at your limit, but you're pitching really well. How do you feel?
Hopefully grooves one right here.
Instead, a walk, and they're loaded up for Kendrys Morales.
So many times this year we've seen situations like this, especially with 2 outs. Hosmer being very selective, knowing very well that one of the best run producers in the game is hitting behind him. So he's been able to buy in. Hey, look, I don't need to do it. We'll let the next guy do it.
Carrasco has allowed 1 home run to the Royals this year, and our AT&T U-verse rewind takes us back to May 6th. And Kendrys Morales at Kauffman Stadium, driving in Lorenzo Cain. And the Royals with a big opportunity here, down by 3. Morales has struck out in his first 2 at-bats against Carrasco tonight. And got a pitch up, and Lindor backhands and throws a strike to Santana. So 2 outs, the Royals load the bases, but Carrasco gets out of it. A strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KC Data Strong Fan for a chance to have it featured in an upcoming broadcast. We thank Carls for our Data Strong photo for tonight, brought to you by T-Mobile. Chris Young is on for the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitched on Friday in Baltimore. Ned Yost had to improvise that night. Wade Davis was not available. Danny Duffy went 5. And Ned was hoping to use Hochevar, followed by Madsen, Herrera, and Holland. But he had to bring in Chris Young in the 7th inning in a close game.
And Young gave up 1 run. And that was the game where an inning later, Baltimore would score 10 runs in the 8th inning. Hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning.
Nobody saw that coming. And it all hinged on the fact that Wade Davis needed another day off.
Two and one on Urshela.
Young fastball, slider, occasional changeup.
2-2. Indians have hit 2 home runs. Kipnis in the 1st inning. Urshela against Volquez in the 4th. Hosmer sprints out into foul territory. Good play. Ran to the right spot. And there's 1 down in the bottom of the 6th. We take a Mazda game break and go to Arlington, Texas. And a huge series between the Astros and the Rangers. Jose Altuve with a home run in the 1st inning. We saw home runs in the top and the bottom of the 1st here. 1-1 tie. And there is a game and a half separating the Astros from the Rangers. Who picked the Rangers to be in contention this late in the game with fewer than 3 weeks to go? But there they are, a game and a half back of the Astros. Ball 1 on Jose Ramirez. Ramirez has grounded out to 3rd and struck out. Minnesota, by the way, at home has a 5-0 lead over Detroit in the 2nd inning. Three 3-0 on Ramirez. Three and one. Ramirez takes a 1-out walk. 4th walk allowed by a Royals pitcher in the first 6 innings. 2 walks have already turned into runs.
You know, Chris Young, he's had a very good season this year. We showed you the numbers earlier. 110 innings pitched, only 86 hits, so that's a good number. Hits compared to innings. 41 runs. That's his 39th walk. Has given up 15 home runs, but for the most part he's very consistent. You know what you're getting. Hitters are going to get high fastballs when he's going good. Young pops guys up, get some fly ball outs, especially what he meant to the Royals in the first half of the season. He's done well in the bullpen.
Close. And Ramirez just got back in time. Eric Hosmer turns to the Royals dugout and says no review. Umpire got it right. Again close. This time Ramirez goes back in standing. Fouled back by Kipnis, and it's 0-2. Up the left field line. Foul by a couple of feet. It's a bounce back year for Kipnis. 2 years ago he had a very good season for the Indians, and then last year he had an oblique strain, a rib cage muscle, and the Indians wondered if he ever really got over that. At this point last year he's hitting .245, so more hits this year, not much more power and runs driven in. He had 51 hits in the month of May.
It's a good season for a lot of guys. It's a lot of hits. You know, I noticed Kipnis wearing high tops. You don't see a lot of baseball players wearing high tops. But there they are.
Is that in case a basketball game breaks out?
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him why he likes high tops. That'll work.
Hosmer walks onto the grass. 2 down. Kind of the Bill Buckner look with the high tops.
Yeah, I noticed that, and then he's got that shin guard protecting it, but there it is, and he just broke his bat.
Because it was the bat's fault.
Yeah, it was. Right? That's right. That bat did not die a hero.
No.
That was an angry snap.
Francisco Lindor has walked twice. Both times he turned those into runs. And that'll be out of play. Francisco Lindor was the Indians' first-round pick in 2011 and immediately became their #1 prospect. Ramirez runs. Ramirez is out. So Young gives up a 1-out walk. Salvador Perez guns down Ramirez, and Chris Young out of the Royals bullpen faces only 3 in the bottom of the 6th.
There you go, Salvi. Perfect throw. Out.
Call 1-800-PICK-ATT. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Cleveland Indians, in their first 6 at-bats, have scored in 4 of the 6 innings. No more than 1 run. And the Royals have finally chased Carlos Carrasco out of the game because of a limited pitch count. So it's Zach McAllister on for the top of the 7th.
All right. Anybody else? Now that last inning, Royals had a huge opportunity. Morales just lined it at the shortstop. Now let's see if they can get something going off McAllister. Another hard fastball guy. Plenty of life.
Good movement. Yeah.
Good life on that pitch there. He cuts the fastball as well. Curveball, changeup. Occasional split finger. Good downhill angle. 6'6", 240.
One and 1 to Moustakas. He was 0 for 2 against Carrasco with a strikeout, and Carrasco struck out 9 in his 6 innings.
Get him out. He was good from the second pitch on.
Gomes makes the play and then bumps into the screen.
Ball just had a little backspin, came back, stayed with it. Nice play up against the fence.
The Indians last year led the major leagues with 116 errors. They were awful defensively. Salvador Perez has a 2-hit game. So he's on with 1 out, and that's one area that has improved for Cleveland, and we've seen some good defensive plays tonight. And if you go by defensive runs saved, the Indians are on the plus side. They are plus 13. So their defense has not let them down as much as it did last year. Several upgrades, young upgrades, especially at positions on the infield.
And coming into tonight, just 72 errors. Big improvement, like you said.
Rios takes outside from McAllister.
There's Brad Mills to Terry Francona's left, and our right there, he's their infield instructor. Had the infielders, all of them, come early to spring training this year. Said, look, guys, we got to do something. So we show up a couple weeks early. Let's work on some fundamentals here. Baseball is so important that you do the fundamentals just the same way kids in Little League and club ball at the lowest levels all have to do here at the big league level. You got to catch the ball, know where to throw it, cut off men, all those routine plays, and it's made a difference.
Two and 1. Rios has grounded out twice. One of those ground balls turned into a double play. And there's a base hit into left field. Royals had just 4 hits in the first 5 innings. And just 4 base runners in the first 5 innings. And now they have 5 base runners in the last 2 innings.
Okay, take advantage. That's some 95 out over the middle. We talked about how the Royals love the fastball, and McAllister's got one for him. The whole key, get the big hit.
And that's really what's eluded the Royals for the most part. Take away Mike Moustakas on Saturday against the Orioles. The Royals with 7 losses in their last 9 games, and what's been missing has been, in addition to the starting pitching not being what they've been most of the year, is the big hit, which we've been blessed with all season long. Almost starting to take it for granted. Royals have been so good with runners in scoring position. 2 outs with runners in scoring position.
Okay, so what you do is you just shorten up your swing. You don't try to do too much. Shorten up the swing, put the ball in play. We saw the Royals during a couple of periods when they were red hot, getting hits to the opposite field. I mean, every hitter. Escobar's been pulling off the ball the last several games. See if he can try to direct something towards right. Keeps you in there longer. You see the ball longer.
And that's a little high. 2 balls, no strikes. With 2 outs in the 6th inning, the Royals got a walk, a single, and another walk. And the bases were loaded for Kendrys Morales and his 101 RBIs. And he grounded out hard to the shortstop Lindor. And now with 1 out, a single, followed by another single, and now 2-0 on Escobar. And Mickey Callaway again out to the mound. It's time to chat with McAllister while Brian Shaw warms up quickly in the Indians bullpen.
You know, and Escobar hitting at the top of the order for most of the year. You know, you only hit leadoff to start the game, but he does do a good job of going to the opposite field when he's thinking that way, especially with runners in scoring position. He's hit .284. Most of the time when you have a good average with runners in scoring position, it tells you you're using the whole field, not just pulling it.
Alex Gordon is on deck. He has 2 hits, including a home run tonight. There's a strike, 2-1.
That's right in the spot there where Alcides should be looking.
Trying to go the other way, 2-2.
And by keeping your hands inside of that ball, trying to go to the opposite field, keeps you from rolling those hands over to the left side. Stay away from a ground ball, unless you can find a hole.
Escobar's 2 strikeouts tonight against Carrasco, both on breaking balls down and away. Let's see if Gomes and McAllister try that here with the count 2-2.
Yep, that's all on your catcher there. McAllister has been out in the bullpen. Hadn't had any idea what's been going on as far as strikeouts. Tried it there. Good job by Esky, trying to protect. Escobar wants to go up there and just react here, just like he did in that last pitch there. He fought off anything close.
Fastball at 96. That was not the pitch that Escobar was expecting. You'd tell by his body language, but just a little bit outside.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you. Ooh. What? It's got another pitch, maybe more.
Got him to chase one up and probably ball 4. And Ramirez will bring it down 2 away. That's a bat the Royals need to get going.
No question. This is ball 4. Keep the line moving. way out of the zone.
So Alex Gordon coming up. McAllister is out. Brian Shaw was the only pitcher warming up. The entire Indians outfield goes into the bullpen. And Shaw will face Alex Gordon when we come back. And Terry Francona brings in a righty to replace a righty to face Alex Gordon. It's Brian Shaw.
You see Shaw's numbers over the season is not too bad. 2.75. That's a good ERA. He's got strikeout ability. Fastball 90 to 96. Good cut fastball. Slider, curve, and a change. Mainly hard cutters. He's given up a 222 average to left-handed bats with 2 homers.
And that'll put 2 runners in scoring position. Wild pitch gets Perez to third and Rios to second.
That cutter missed by a long margin. Way inside.
Tapped foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Alex becomes a .324 hitter in situations like this. He's hitting .287 overall. First time he has batted tonight with a runner in scoring position. He hit the first pitch of the game over the wall in right center field against Carlos Carrasco, and that was the only run Carrasco allowed in 6 innings. 2-1.
Okay, you're thinking right now for Alex, and you don't want a lot of that, but think middle away, react in. He knows how to hit 286 average with runners overall, but I like the numbers with 2 outs. Lousy single.
3-1. Zobrist is on deck.
Brantley in left field has 8 outfield assists. Chisenhall in right has 5. Almonte in center has 1.
Full count. Out to third. Urshela takes Santana off the bag. A run scores. It is 4-2.
Nice. 3-2, borderline pitch. Alex can't be taking it looking, so he just topped it. And we've seen a lot of Royals rallies with infield hits like this.
Alex has a 3-hit game.
Gonna work. Look at that. Out of the box quickly. Urshela had to rush it up the line. Santana, he saved another run by making this play coming off the base.
So first and third with 2 down, and now Zobrist. There's a cutter in for a strike. Alex was just 1 for 13 against the Orioles, and Ned Yost kind of going against the original plan of Alex 2 games on, 1 off until the middle or the end of this road trip. Alex starting tonight for the 4th straight game and has a home run, 2 singles, and 2 driven in.
Just keep the line moving. Zobrist 0 for 2 in his career off of Shaw.
1 ball, 1 strike. Good pitch. 1-2. Boy, that thing almost the entire distance from the mound to home plate. Looks like it's going to be right down the middle, and Royals have been seeing pitches like that from Carrasco all night, and now Shaw has a pitch disappear under Zobrist's bat. Another tap up the third base side, and Urshela does not have a play this time. It is a 1-run game. So whatever works, and the Royals with a little pop gun approach in the 7th inning to get 2 runs. It is 4-3.
It doesn't really matter. However you could do it. Yeah, Zobrist, he's got a smile on his face. Says, you know what? If it worked with my clone partner, it can work again, and this one is even more difficult for Urshela. Yeah, he says, I'll take it. I never knew a hitter that wouldn't take it. 2 out hitting.
And now Kane, and Lorenzo has 2 hits. 2 singles, 1 to right field, 1 to left.
Couple little bloopers, and how about a blast?
Ooh, there was a blast swing. Gordon is at second. Zobrist is at first. That pitch stayed up. Boy, Kane would like to have that one back. No balls, 2 strikes. And this is where Lorenzo at times is at his best. 333 with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. If you take away the runner in scoring position, he's hitting 380 with 2 outs. That's the best in the American League. Nobody has a higher batting average with 2 outs in the league than Lorenzo Kane. Again, the pitch stayed up. Still 0-2.
Righties this year off Brian Shaw hitting 260 with 5 homers. So he's been throwing a lot of those elevated pitches to righties. Lorenzo Kane just pulling off of that a tick.
Royals have 2 infield RBI singles in the inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fights it off again.
I like his approach. He's not top hand dominant. He's not trying to pull that ball. He's got a good level swing, and it's just a little bit up and out of his reach. Keep throwing him those, though. He'll make that adjustment. See, the outfielders, they're playing him to the opposite field, infield straight up.
He's seen 5 of those pitches now, so he has a pretty good idea of how it's coming out of Shaw's hand.
And nothing's missing low.
Just got underneath it. Almonte's in center field. And that's the inning. Royals get 4 singles, 2 of them infield singles that drive in runs, and now it's a 1-run game.
For Kansas City, 40 Herrera.
Some of the games that matter. New York and Tampa. Erasmo Ramirez lost his no-hitter on a Carlos Beltran single, but no score in that one. Houston leading Texas. Detroit getting crushed by Minnesota. And we go to Minnesota, where Kyle Lobstein only went 1 1/3 inning, giving up 6 runs. Trevor Plouffe, a part of the damage. The Twins just on the outside, looking in right now at the wild card race. Former Royal Mike Aviles is not playing tonight. Maybe we'll see him at some point. But the good news on Mike is that his twin daughter, who has been battling leukemia, 4-year-old Adriana, is doing much better. We saw a video recently of she and her sister throwing out the first pitch. Mike said that she's bouncing around. She's got energy. Other than when she's getting chemo, in those days, obviously not as much energy. She's getting set to go in for another chemo treatment soon that will require some hospital stays. But they're hoping that after that, she should be in line to get a bone marrow transplant, which would help speed along the process and get her on her way to remission. So they're very, very optimistic right now. And he said that both of his twins and his older daughter, they're just energetic girls that are all over the place, just like their dad. He said the only normal one in the family is his wife. But good to hear that his daughter, and everyone was so concerned for a while, is doing much, much better.
Well, we can all understand why, and yet it was strange to see Mike earlier this season and not have that big smile on his face. He's always smiling, but he had a lot on his mind, and Good to see him today, bouncing around like he normally is with that big smile on his face. I hope everybody's all right with that line drive. Aviles is concerned. The fan was hit by that late swing and line drive by Lindor. This is one of the more dangerous ballparks because the seats behind the dugouts are elevated. So line drives, which say at Kauffman Stadium may not get back to the seats for about 10 or 15 rows. Here it's going to be about 6 or 7 rows. So all the years I've been coming here, I don't know if there's been a more dangerous ballpark than this one. And the netting behind home plate really doesn't cover all of the area behind home plate. It is a good idea for fans coming here to bring a glove, not so much to get a souvenir, but to use as protection. See how the netting doesn't even wrap all the way around the home plate area. Lindor down on strikes, and I don't know how much his heart was into that plate appearance after he saw the fan was hit by his foul ball.
Yeah, especially Herrera throwing 99 to 100. He says, "Oh no, I hit somebody." Yep, been there. It's always a tough thing for all the players. But Herrera throwing so hard, that ball really comes off of that bat almost the same speed.
And you would think that we are on the 18th green of a major PGA event, as quiet as it is. Everyone concerned with that. It appears to be a female fan. Still waiting on some medical personnel to arrive. Another base hit for Brantley, and that ball skipped on Lorenzo Cain and goes all the way to the wall. And now Brantley thought about heading for third. That was a good decision to hold. And for Brantley, that is his third hit. Already leading the league in doubles. And now he has 44.
Okay, Lorenzo Cain, he took a path to the ball thinking that he could cut it off, but that ball was slicing away from him. And then he kind of slowed down a little bit as he was able to decelerate. Alex was there with a beautiful throw. Wish Brantley would have went and thrown him out.
Kendrys Morales closest to Brantley with 41 doubles. Jason Kipnis is third in the league.
And Brantley gets a lot of those doubles right there to where he hit that opposite field. It's a great hitter.
Santana has popped to short, walked, and singled. Royals just got 2 in the top half of this inning to make it a 1-run game, and now the Indians have a runner at second with 1 down. 2-1.
Nice changeup. It's a good sign. Young lady's leaving on her own power. She caught that ball in the arm, the shoulder area.
Right over the inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes in 98. Look at that. 0 for 13 with 7 strikeouts. That's what Carlos Santana has done or not done against Kelvin Herrera. 3-2. Herrera's last outing was on Friday in that fateful 10-run 8th inning for the Orioles. He allowed the first grand slam to Nolan Reimold off the top of the left field foul pole. And then Santana gets away. He walks. And the Indians have 2 on with 1 out. Royals pitchers have walked 5 tonight.
Yeah, that game you're talking about on Friday, man, you know, Ned's bullpen just got out of whack. You know, he's used to getting guys, keeping them in their roles and things like that, but it didn't work out. And as a result, it was a rare implosion by the bullpen.
Lonnie Chisenhall's had a good night. A single, an RBI double, and a sacrifice fly. Fastball right by him at 97.
To keep that ball right there on Chisenhall. He's looking to pull. Lorenzo Cain playing him to left center. Big hole in right center.
One and one. Now Herrera wants to have a little chat with Perez.
Herrera mainly a fly ball pitcher. That high fastball like he throws, a lot of guys are going to get up underneath that. Change up is a good pitch if it's down and away to roll a double play.
But boy, you better make sure you get that change up down at his velocity.
Yep, down and away. It speeds that bat up.
As 89, 90 mile an hour at this level. That's good hitting speed.
Better believe it. He's got to make sure he executes it. Now here, 1 and 2 most likely stay with that power fastball.
And he missed. 2 and 2. Longtime Indians fan John Adams pounding the rally drum on top of the left field bleachers, and there's the ground ball, but it gets through. Brantley's going to be waved home on Rios, and the throw comes in late, and the Indians get a run back right away.
Chisenhall having a night, likes to pull it. There it is. We talked about the changeup. It's on the outer half, but he reaches out and he pulls it into that hole. Nope, just got out ahead of it a little bit. If he hits it right to Zobrist, that's a inning ending double play. So it may turn out to be the wrong pitch at that time.
Chisenhall is driven in 3, and now Gomes hits it to the gap. Santana scores. Chisenhall scores. The Indians have 3 in the bottom of the 7th inning, and they have their biggest lead of the night.
You just don't expect this after Herrera has had a dominant year. And he's not executing pitches. They're right down the middle. Gomes, good inside-out swing, hit it in a perfect part of the park. He was able to get those Indians way back out in front again. Too bad. But it's a good swing, but not a good executed pitch.
Now Herrera has allowed 6 earned runs in his last inning. 2/3 on Friday at Baltimore and 1/3 of an inning tonight. Abraham Almonte chases one in the dirt. 0-1. Fastball right by him. No balls, 2 strikes. Almonte is 0 for 3.
Indians getting some big hits. 4 for 9, runners in scoring position.
A little bit outside. Before these last 2 appearances, it had taken almost 2 months for Kelvin Herrera to give up 6 runs. July 18th through September the 9th, he gave up 6 runs, and now he's given up 6 in his last 2. That came up and got home plate umpire Jeff Nelson.
When you go through a spell like the Royals are going through, these things just seem to happen. And it's all about execution. Pitch to Gomes, 97, but right down the middle. Changeup previously was a pretty good pitch, a changeup away, although we talked about the dangers of throwing that. And it worked for Chisenhall. It's all about executing.
Out to Zobrist. 2 down, and Gomes goes to third. So a runner at third, 2 down to Giovanni Urshela. 1 for 3 with a home run back in the 4th inning. Can't ever pick a good time to give up 3 runs late in a game, but the timing tonight, the Royals had just scored 2 in the top of the 7th to turn a 3-run game into a 1-run game. So when the 7th inning began, the Indians had a 3-run lead, and right now they have a 4-run lead, and that's with the Royals scoring 2. Kyle Crockett getting ready for the 8th inning. Very high to shallow left field. Escobar wants it. Gordon calls him off, and that's the inning. Chisenhall drives in 1, Gomes drives in 2, and at the end of 7, Cleveland leads 7-3. He went 6 innings with a limited pitch count, his second start since coming back from the disabled list, and he struck out 9. He gave up a run on his first pitch. Alex Gordon homered to right field to lead off the game. And then Carrasco went 5 scoreless after that, and striking out 9. 7-3 Cleveland. The Royals are down to their last 6 outs on offense. And this is left-hander Kyle Crockett with Hosmer, Morales, and Moustakas coming up. Hosmer so far tonight is 0 for 2. He has reached with a walk. No balls, 1 strike.
Crockett, big, tall, thin lefty. Has a good fastball, 90 to 95. Slider and a changeup. Changeup more to righties. Just 13 2/3 in the big leagues.
Hosmer lost the grip in the middle of that swing. The Royals immediately responded when Terry Francona went to the bullpen in the 7th inning and got Carrasco out of the game. 3 pitches, down goes Hosmer. Royals got 2 runs that were charged to Zach McAllister in the top of the 7th inning, and the Royals had cut the deficit to 4-3, only to watch Cleveland get 3 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, that alarm angle from the lefty is tough. That's low 3/4, making it tough on the left-handed batters to keep that shoulder front side closed.
Outside to Kendrys Morales, 0 for 3 tonight. He has an 8-game hitting streak. One and one. Two and one. Kendrys struck out twice against Carrasco and then grounded to short in the 6th inning, which was perhaps Carrasco's biggest out. The Royals had loaded the bases with 2 down in the 6th inning, and they had the right man at the plate, and Kendrys hit it right on the button, but at the shortstop Lindor, who made a good backhand stop, and the Royals were scoreless in that 6th inning, and that ended up being the last man that Carrasco faced. 3 strikeouts tonight for Kendrys Morales, and 11 strikeouts for Indians pitching. Royals fans, you still have the exclusive opportunity to purchase an autographed copy of Dayton Moore's new book, More Than a Season. 100% of the proceeds support Dayton Moore's charity, See You in the Major Leagues. So purchase your autographed copy today at Royals.com/more-than-a-season. Mike Moustakas is 0 for 3 so far tonight. Hit very hard into right center field. Moustakas got a pitch down and has his first hit. And he's on with 2 down.
Low fastball, 91. I don't see any 95s. He's low 90s. Francona's seen enough.
And with the potential tying run in the clubhouse, changing his shoes. He's going to go to the bullpen.
That's right.
Saturday, September 19th, 10 a.m. at Kauffman Stadium, open to women ages 12 and older. Participants will learn basic self-defense techniques which could save their lives. The Take Defense program represents a living legacy in honor of Allie Kemp, a 19-year-old Leawood, Kansas resident who was murdered while working as a lifeguard at a neighborhood pool in Johnson County. Register for the class at royals.com/take-defense. Jeff Manship comes on to face Salvador Perez with Moustakas at first base and 2 down.
Manship's had a good season. It's 31 innings. 158 average against. He got a sinking fastball. 88 to 94. Curve, change, and a slider. Pretty good slider.
Two and 0. This is the 5th Indians pitcher tonight. Chopped to third, and Urshela will go to second base. So Manship finishes off the Royals in the top of the 8th. Cleveland leads 7-3. Franklin Morales will get the bottom of the 8th inning. Volquez went 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. Chris Young pitched a scoreless 6th inning. Kelvin Herrera allowed 3 in the 7th. Morales will get Jose Ramirez, Jason Kipnis, and Francisco Lindor. Royals have now played, even though this game isn't complete, but this is their 13th game in September. And in 10 of the 13 games, the Royals have allowed 6 or more runs and 10 or more hits. Now that doesn't take the offense completely off the hook. The offense hasn't been firing on all cylinders during this stretch. Ned Yost continues to look and be relaxed. But that is one number that really stands out. 10 of 13 games in September, the Royals have allowed 6 or more runs and 10 or more hits.
You're not going to win your share of games when you're giving up those runs, and that's something that the Royals are not used to doing. Fans aren't used to watching that either.
Jose Ramirez is 0 for 2 with a walk. Backing out of play, 0-2. Still 0-2 on Ramirez. Who kisses his bat for good luck. One and two.
Ramirez is just a 197 hitter from the right side. Maybe that's why. Maybe he can kiss the bat on the left side too. He's just hitting 210.
Or maybe he's not kissing his bat enough from the right side. Well, it worked. Ramirez into second base with a double. The ball gets through Zobrist, but Hosmer is right there.
Yeah, he waited on this big curve until it came down. Short, compact swing, got some backspin on it. Alex, look how quick he was with that release. Just a little bit off.
$11 hits for the Indians, and 6 different Indians hitters have an extra base hit. Jason Kipnis had the first one. He led off the bottom of the first with a home run right after Alex Gordon led off the top of the first with a home run. Outside to Kipnis. Kane will make the play, and there is one out. Coming up after the game, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty. And I'm sure he is getting tired of being asked this question, but it's worth asking because the Royals are in a stretch that they haven't been in all year. But always interesting to hear what Ned Yost has to say after a game like this if the Royals do not come back in the 9th inning. 2 questions he's been asked quite a bit lately about the team. First of all, what is your level of concern? And as he was again after the game last night. In regard to Johnny Cueto, what is your level of concern? But if the Royals are not able to come back tonight, they're on their way to their 8th loss in their last 10 games. And now 4-9 in September.
Well, you know, when you're not winning games, confidence is down, and so is the energy, and takes the fun away too. So the Royals have had a magnificent run all year long, and now here in September they're starting to get beat a little bit by some teams that are finishing strong, and they're, for the most part, they're being outplayed, outpitched, outhit.
And at times, as crazy as this sounds, outdefended. And then, of course, the big picture is just staring us in the eyes. The Royals have a 10-game lead in the division with fewer than 3 weeks to go. We were at dinner the other night in the Royals press dining room, and David Boyce, who has spent most of his life in Kansas City, wrote for the Kansas City Star, and is one of the Royals' official scorers, and he reminded us that the 1980 team, the Royals team that finally got by the Yankees and advanced to the World Series, Rios to the wall, it hits the top of the wall,
get it,
and stays in. Rios thinks it's a home run. He gave up on it.
Lindor does too. He's trotting. If he's running the whole way, he has it inside the Parker. But first base umpire, Corey Blazer, he went out there and signaled safe, as it looked like it hit the yellow on the line there, which is a home run, but came back in. And Lindor was just trotting.
Hit right on the yellow line and came back. Just to finish the thought, the 1980 Royals had an 8-game losing streak in September.
Wow.
And maybe that was a little wake-up call for them, because they ended up finishing September strong. They got by the Yankees in the first round and then lost to the Phillies in the World Series. So just to keep in the back of our minds.
Yeah, perspective is important. If you were to ask Ned Yost that he's going to have a 10-game lead on September 14th, he'd tell you, really? Okay, thank you, we'll take it.
But you have lost 8 of your last 10 games.
And
he'd still take it.
Right. So it's about perspective. And no, they're not going to give him a home run.
So Rios thought it was gone. Lindor thought it was gone. He ends up with a triple. It's now 8-3 and a runner at third base with 1 out.
And he would have had it inside the Parker had he been running all the way. You see him just trotting, thinking it's out, and then finally his third base coach says, pick it up.
That's one of the better triple trots you'll ever see.
Yeah, that's the easiest triple trot I've ever seen. He could have had it inside the Parker.
And now Michael Brantley with the infield in. Brantley already has 3 hits and a run scored. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. And Brantley, that's not the first time tonight he's been unhappy with Jeff Nelson. Nelson rang him up in the 3rd inning. When Brantley was facing Edinson Volquez, Brantley showed no emotion then, a little more emotion here. And now he is down on strikes. So with a runner at third and one out, Morales gets a big strikeout. And they're 2 down. Carlos Santana on base 3 times. He has 2 walks, a single, and a run scored. Ball 1 from Morales. The Indians have scored in 6 of 8 innings tonight. 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 3 in the seventh, and 1 in the eighth. And it's one of those nights where everyone feels like they have chipped in. 8 of the 9 in the Indians lineup have at least a run scored or an RBI. Only Abraham Almonte is without a run scored or an RBI. 2-2. Nice easy swing by Santana.
He's trying to hit one out of the ballpark for sure.
And Morales strikes him out. So he does give up 1 run, and with a runner at third and 1 out, he strikes out Brantley and Santana. But now the Royals' deficit is 5. Of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. They're coming up with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Jeff Manship, who got the last out of the 8th, stays on for the 9th, and he throws a strike to Rios. Royals have given Alex Rios quite an opportunity this year to get things going, and they have other options in the outfield. And Rios got off to a good start, then he broke his hand, and he came back. Started very slowly, and it was a prolonged slump. He strikes out on 3 pitches in the 9th inning. then he started to find his swing and he got chicken pox. And the timing is not right here as he strikes out on 3 pitches, but 1 for 4 tonight with a single, a run scored, sharply hit ground ball to short. He was 5 for 10 in the Orioles series, and Royals are trying to give him every chance to get going before October. And there are signs that he's starting to come around.
Yeah, you know, they've been extremely fair with him. No question about it. Coming into tonight, hitting right at 260. So he's done a lot of work to get that average up from where it was. Still the production, though, you look at his RBIs, you know, 25 for your right fielder. That's way below numbers that you would expect your right fielder to have. But you know, they've got to have Escobar getting his swing right. Instead of over swinging, he needs to just kind of stay within himself, try to find those holes and get on base, even in that number 9 spot. Just because you're hitting 9th doesn't mean that you have a meaningless spot anywhere in there. 1 through 9, it's important. You got to get these guys swinging all on the right page, and it doesn't seem like they're getting there.
Well, it looked like a good night. 1 pitch into the game, and as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. First pitch of the ball game from Carlos Carrasco, and Alex Gordon hit his 14th career leadoff home run, and then added 2 more hits later in the game, added another RBI. But with 2 down in the 9th inning, the Royals are down by 5. 1-1 against Jeff Manship.
Manship is sinking fastballs, doing a good job at slider or curveball, whatever that pitch is there. I'm not really sure. It's got some really good depth to it.
And Alex has a 4-hit game.
Nice. Put the finishing touches on that. Good game. 4 hits. Matches number. Way to go.
And now Ben Zobrist. Minnesota leads at home 7-1 over Detroit. So if they hang on, the Royals lead will be 9 in the Central, which will be the 2nd largest lead in the major leagues. It's been a while since we've said that. The Royals have, by a pretty wide margin for most of the second half, have had the biggest lead in all of Major League Baseball, but the Mets have a 9.5 game lead over the Nationals.
And that's happened quickly.
3-1. And with Toronto off tonight, the Royals lead, if you will, for best record in the American League will be down to 2. Zobrist is on. And now 2 on, 2 out. So Manship strikes out Rios and Escobar, and now gives up a single and a walk, and we'll hear from pitching coach Mickey Callaway. Is Ned Yost still, in your opinion, in the this thing will work itself out, or do you think maybe he needs a game to rest several regulars or say something to the team after the game?
Well, you know, it might come to a point sooner or later here that they haven't been through a spell like this all year. I think if anything, to calm the nerves of the players might be a good idea. Just to have a little powwow, but you know, it's all up to him, and he knows his personnel better than we do. But that's okay. Those aren't bad meetings when you have those. It's perfectly safe to talk about it. Everybody has an opportunity to throw it out there.
Maybe a players only meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe they can just have a little chat. And it's been a long season and a successful one. And they're down the stretch now. It's time to have a little chit chat and see if everybody can get on the same end of the rope and start pulling on that end.
I mean, it just seems strange to say that. I mean, this team over the last 3 seasons has not been one where, you know, you would question the energy or the effort. And again, I mean, we're headed toward a 9-game lead with about 20 games to go, which you really do have to keep that into perspective. And yet at the same time, yeah, there's a bit of a pattern now where I figure somebody needs to sit down and talk to somebody.
Right.
And it probably doesn't have to be finger pointing and yelling and accusing, but
that might be, you know, just a time to share some things if anybody wants to talk, have a little open forum. But that's all up to Ned.
Or maybe it's too soon for that. Who knows?
Could be.
Brantley is back in left. Almonte is over from center, and the Cleveland Indians take game 1 8-3. So the Royals have now lost 8 of their last 10. They have dropped to 4-9 in September. Cleveland is playing well. We have to give them credit. It's not just about the Royals losing. Cleveland's won 6 of 8 and 13 of their last 18 with their offense leading the way, and they did that again tonight with 8 runs on 12 hits. Final score 8-3. We'll be right back.